absolutely love is talking about women and imposter syndrome. And unless you are Kanye West, aka the greatest rock star that ever lived, you will have experienced imposter syndrome at some point in your life. In fact, I feel a little bit of an imposter standing here at this moment in time with so many amazing people in this room and speaking with so many people. What imposter syndrome is an experience, and it is known that 70% of us women have experienced it at some point in our lives. So when we look at it across the board, it affects us when we are pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone. And you might have noticed it throughout your life when you have felt that feeling of just not quite fitting in, or not belonging, or feeling like you don't deserve something. And those feelings keep coming back. And the reason they keep coming back is because we're human. And we all experience this at some point in our lives. And it does happen. And what I'm finding is that it happens every time I do better, it makes it worse. So what I want to talk to you about today is that when you hear someone say to you, put your big girl pants on and just get on with it. And that instantly, for me, makes me think, well, we're not in a Disney movie for a start. And how are we to just do it? Just get on with it and just do it. I'm going to share with you a few tips, if that's okay with you, as to how I've worked with people in the past and how I've helped them and how it's helped me as well to overcome certain things. Because if this was me 10 years ago, I certainly wouldn't be able to stand here and talk to you today. So I'm grateful for the things that I've learned, so I'd like to share them with you. And I don't think I've ever actually grown out of it. I don't think that at any point in my life I've ever thought, oh yeah, I'm fine now, I can be Kanye West, I'm the greatest rock star that ever lived. That's never happened. When I was a child, I was really anxious. I used to go to this school which was predominantly white. All the girls were white. I was like the only Indian girl in the school. And it was tough. It was tough to be the only one. It felt like I didn't belong. It felt like I didn't fit in. And I kept thinking in my mind, I wish I was like her. And that was tough because that affected me, my confidence, it affected my anxiety, and it actually made it worse. And yesterday I celebrated my 43rd birthday, and my mum is here. Hi mum. She's supporting me, and she's here to make sure I don't swear too much in today's little chat. But yesterday we were at a really nice place, a really nice hotel, and we were having afternoon tea, and it was lovely. We were just sat there and I was drinking my cup of tea. A lady comes up to me and she's like, hey, you're Pinky. I'm like, yes, what have I done wrong? Instant imposter. I was thinking, oh my goodness, I've done something really bad and I'm going to get found out. This is terrible. And she said, do you know, I really absolutely love what you've done with netwomen.co. And I was like, oh, thanks. And that was quite a nice thing for her to say to me. I didn't realise that what she was saying was that she was struggling in her business and in her life, and that she felt really lonely and really stuck. And what Net Women has helped her do is to be able to have that tribe of women, that community, that supportive network that we all need from time to time. Because when we don't fit and we don't belong, we need the sisterhood for us to come together, to help each other out, and for us to have each other's backs. And I think it's super important that we're there for each other to do that. So I created Net Women a few years back because I wanted that community for myself, having moved up from England to be here, to live here. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. But the whole thing about this is that it's about creating opportunities for you. It's about creating that space to be supported, because I felt like I needed that. And that's why I created netwomen.co. Imagine as a child, when you are introduced to somebody new, and your parents introduce you as, meet my daughter, she's the shy one, or this is my special girl, she's quiet. Over time, your subconscious mind takes that in, and as it does that, you start having a belief system where you believe that you are shy or that you're quiet, and you end up living that life as a child and perhaps through adulthood. And that's really not useful, especially if you're standing in front of a group of people that you've never met like this, or if you're in a boardroom or you have to give the pitch. It's just not useful, because you have this belief system that's set up, and it's almost like a label on a t-shirt saying that you are that you are the shy one or the quiet one. Well, that was me up until 10 years ago, when I learned about NLP and about how to change and reframe my thinking. Because I believe if you change the way that you think, you then change the way that you feel, and therefore you can change the way that you act. And that is really important, because you can master what you're doing just by the way that you think. And that was life-changing for me. It really was, because I could change then the labels that I was wearing on my t-shirt. Like I said, I couldn't have stood here 10 years ago and done this, because I would have been a nervous wreck. But if you can just learn those techniques, you could do anything. And I'm wondering what kind of labels you might be wearing on your t-shirts. And life is 10% what is happening and 90% of what you react to it. I, about 12 years ago, had a little boy, and at the same time I got divorced, I moved house, I had to sell a house that I'd built, which was really difficult, and it was a really challenging time for me. However, I needed to make a choice and to take a chance and make a change in my life, because otherwise I would have remained stuck and remained a victim in my life. And I think it's important to realize that you can change your pain into power. It is possible to do that. You just need the skills and a few tools. Maybe all of your life you have tried to be something else, to try to fit in perhaps, or to try to be happy or to be successful. One of my friends who I went to university with, she's a lawyer, she qualified as a lawyer, and on the outside she was just all together with it, always looked happy, loads of friends, husband, car, house, all the things that you look on the outside, having a great life. 6 months ago she said, I'm in Edinburgh, do you want to meet up for a coffee? I thought, yeah, why not? I'd love to hear what you're up to. And we sat down for this coffee, and what surprised me was that actually everything that she'd said was external. None of it was internal contentment, that happiness, that joy. It was all about, I don't deserve this. Who am I to be a lawyer? I'm going to get found out. I don't deserve this. And all of the things that that she just was wearing these labels that she had. And comparison. She's doing better than me. And she was really overwhelmed, quite stressed out in her job and what she was doing. And she spent most of her time self-deprecating. And that was her armor. We have two voices in our head, and we spend most of our time in our own heads. And what's important is the way that you talk to yourself. So how do you talk to yourself? Do you talk to yourself like you were talking to your best friend or your child, with kindness and with compassion? Or are you talking to yourself with criticism, with judgment, and being really mean to yourself? Because that's sometimes what we do as women. And there's 4 things that I want to share with you today that really helped Laura at the time, and it's helped me as well. Number 1 is when you are stressed, you get all kind of tight and you stop breathing. So the first thing I want to say to you is make sure you breathe, because when you breathe, you allow the space in your brain to actually think, and you stop the shallowness of your breath, because you will notice that your breath is shallow. You will notice that you are breathing a lot quicker. So slowing down the breath is really important. That really helped me, and it helped Laura too, and hopefully it will help you. Number 2, gratitude. Lead with what you have in your life rather than what you haven't got. So important. Sounds really cliche, but it really works. And writing it down. Always write it down. 3 things, morning or night, and it will help you. I promise you, it's changed my life for the better. Number 3, proximity is power. Who are you hanging out with? I've heard this time and time again. I didn't believe it. I now believe it. Because no matter what you do, no matter what your frame of reference is, I don't care if you're the most confident person out there, if you're hanging out with really negative people and they're the closest 5 people in your life, they're eventually going to erode your confidence, and they will get in and start getting into that level of confidence that you've got. It's a bit like a woodpecker pecking away, and eventually they'll get in. And finally, number 4 is automatic negative thoughts, ants. They're the things that we talk to ourselves about, and they're the things that we need to find out what we're saying. So being self-aware, noticing what you're thinking, and actually checking in with it, because 99% of the time what you're saying to yourself is just a load of rubbish. It's actually a thought, and it's not really true at all. So catch it, check it, and then change it, please, because it will change your life. And after we worked together, Laura really got it, and she's now no longer a lawyer. She's following her passion, her dream. She's got her own business. She's doing so well, and she's no longer stressed and no longer overwhelmed, because she's using tools and techniques that you can make into a habit. You can change your belief system and change your labels. And the labels on her t-shirt now are, I deserve this. I believe in myself. I don't worry about what other people think. And that is really, really important. If you're going to be successful in life, it's important to believe in yourself, number 1. So we created her killer mindset. That is my tag. That's what I use. And having that kind of mindset is really, really important. I absolutely love what I do. I'm super passionate about what I do. And my why is my boy, who's 12. And he said to me a couple of weeks ago, and this really made my day, he said, "Mummy, I want to be like you." And I was like, oh, I was totally humbled. I don't do it for that, of course, but I do it because, you know, they're watching. The little ones are watching, and it's important. And I think the best investment I've ever made was in myself. I felt like my life really flipped around when I started investing in myself. And that means getting someone to hold you accountable. It means having a tribe of women that have your back, like Net Women. And it means actually having a support system, a network, perhaps having a coach or a mentor, somebody that you can turn to in those moments of need and crisis. Because if you have your own business, you're like me, you work from home, you're on your own, you feel lonely, you feel stuck, you're on a roller coaster every single day, and every day is different. So you need that support system, so get one. And it's about also the challenges that you face. The challenges that you face on a day-to-day basis, how do you get over them without that support network? So important. It's exactly the same as when you get a personal trainer. You could go to the gym every day, go for a walk, go for a run, that's fine. But as soon as you get a personal trainer, they push you out of your comfort zone from the level where you thought you could just go along with, but then you go from this kind of level to up here, and that's where the difference is made. That's when you start doing great things and big things. And that is what changes you can have happen in your life if you make the right changes and you go along with meeting the right people and get that tribe. And finally, just to wrap up, is that the only limitations that you have are the ones that you put on yourself. So if you're looking to do that and change those t-shirts and change the labels on the t-shirts, that's when the great things and the big things happen in your life. Thank you so much for listening.